guys, Rob here. Now, since its release at the back half of 2019, I have been using the Razer Viper Ultimate as my main gaming mouse, and I absolutely love it. So it's been nearly going on 3 years now that I've been using this mouse as my daily driver. I've used other ones in between to test them out, do reviews, and see if there's anything better, like the Ponage Ultra Custom. I tried the Model O, the Model D. I even tried the G-Wolf Skull and the Xtrfy M4 in between. But I always kept going back to the Razer Viper Ultimate because for me it just checked all the boxes that I was looking for in a mouse. So when Razer released their new Viper Ultimate Pro V2 version, the successor to the Viper Ultimate, I knew I had to get it right away, try it out, and see if everything I loved about this mouse carried over into the new version, and see how I feel about upgrading from the old one to the new one. So in today's review, we're going to be talking about the version 2 V2 Pro Razer Viper Ultimate and what's changed between from the original, the version 1, and my thoughts on the direction that Razer went with this. When you open the box, you obviously are greeted with the mouse. It comes in either white or black. I have the white version here with me today. Underneath, you have a USB-C cord. You have the dongle extender receiver that your cord plugs into, where you can just plug the dongle directly to that for your wireless receiver. You have a set of side grips and mouse button grips, which are not included directly on the mouse, so you could apply them yourself onto the mouse. Now, looking at the overview of the mouse, obviously, as you can see, it kept the same symmetrical shape as the Viper Ultimate. You have the two side buttons, you have the two mouse buttons, and the scroll wheel and the middle click. Underneath, you have the same material mouse feet, however, they're just in a different shape, more pronounced this time, which does help improve the glide from what I can see. And you have the power on off button and the DPI 2-in-1 button, where it's the power and the DPI changer at the same time. And then obviously you have the new optical sensor from Razer. The buttons, everything is very similar from the Viper Ultimate. These do use the new optical switches that Razer are claiming, like the new generation of optical switches, but to be honest, I didn't feel a difference between the previous version and this version. So here's a quick sound test of the buttons that come on the Razer Viper Ultimate V2 Pro version. Let's talk about physically what changed on the mouse. So there's three major changes physically that I noticed right away on the mouse. The first off being that the original Viper Ultimate was a real symmetrical and ambidextrous mouse. That being said, it is the same shape on both left and right and left, and it also has the two side buttons on both the left side and the right side. So if you're a left-handed user, you could use this mouse no problem. So Razer opted to get rid of that for the V2, and the mouse buttons are now only on the left side. So if you are a left-handed gamer that uses their mouse with their left hand, too bad. The new version 2 is no longer considered a true ambidextrous mouse, but it is still a symmetrical shaped mouse. Now the side buttons are a bit more protruded, which is something that I really like, the fact that the buttons stick out a bit more than the original one, which were a bit too subtle. And another fantastic change that I like to see on the physical side of this mouse is the fact that there is a USB-C port now instead of a micro USB that was on the Viper Ultimate original. And then on the bottom, I don't know if you could tell here, but there was two other changes that were done to the bottom of this mouse. So on the previous version, you have a button for the DPI switching, and then you had a switch to turn your mouse on and off. Now you only have one button that does both. And then another one that is not really that big of a deal, but I do enjoy having it if ever you are someone that travels with your mouse. The original Viper Ultimate has this small compartment where you could keep your dongle if you are traveling with your mouse or need to take it with you somewhere, or just moving it around your house so you don't lose it. Or if you want to put it in storage, if you're not using it, then you know you won't lose your dongle. Whereas on the new version of the Viper V2, that cutout is gone, so don't lose your dongle. And then another major change is the fact that they removed the RGB component in the new version. So you do have the Razer logo right here on the hump of the mouse like you do in the previous one. However, there's no more RGB on it. One of the biggest changes is the charging method. So previously on the Viper Ultimate, you got this little dock, which I absolutely love, because at the end of your gaming session, You could just pop it and there you go, your mouse is now charging. The V2 does not have that. It is back to a traditional wired charging method. It does not have the pins on the bottom of the mouse as you see here to connect to a dock. So you do have to have a wire on your desk at all times to charge your mouse. And I know that people are going to be like, well, you could just take it out of your receiver and then plug it in your mouse. But if you're doing that, if you unplug your receiver, then you're unplugging the USB dongle, and you're going to have to either put this USB into another USB port on your computer, or you just can't use your mouse while it's charging, which is kind of annoying. And I really like having the dock. I really love having the dock because of the fact that no matter what people say, whether you have anything that's wireless, whether it's a keyboard or mouse, at the end of the day, you are still going to need a wire on your desk because you still need to charge it. And that's either you keep the wire in a drawer and have to pull it out every time, or you have a wire conveniently put away somewhere on the side of your desk that's ready to plug in whenever you need it. However, with the original Viper, you didn't have to worry about that. You could cable manage the wire really tight on the dock and have your dock stationary on your desk, and then when you're done, plug it in. I never had any issues with a dead battery or low battery on this mouse. Okay, another one of the major changes about this mouse, which is definitely on the positive side, is its weight. So the original Razer Viper Ultimate was 74 grams, which is a super lightweight mouse. However, the Razer Viper V2, the white version, is 59 grams, whereas the black version is 58 grams. So the weight, I'm very happy. It's lighter, obviously, for someone who plays FPS games. A lighter mouse is really good if you're playing with a lower DPI. You are gaining that 15 gram weight reduction, which is a positive upgrade to this mouse. They are now using a upgraded sensor, Razer's 30,000 DPI optical sensor. 30,000 DPI. Listen, I get that sensors are getting much more accurate and they're really good, but all wireless mice, all mice have fantastic sensors in this day and age. So having a mouse that goes up to 30,000 DPI is just a pure marketing gimmick, just to put a higher number out there. I game at 800 DPI, and most people that I think are going to be gaming anywhere between 800 to 1600 DPI mark is probably going to be where the majority of people play. So who's gaming at 30,000? Who needs 30,000 DPI? Do you know what would happen if I'm playing a game of Valorant or COD and I need to flick my mouse with a 30,000 DPI setting on my mouse? My cursor is not only going to leave my screen, it's going to cross the Atlantic Ocean and move somebody's cursor on their screen in Europe. The other thing I want to talk about is the additional grips that come with the mouse. So the Viper Ultimate original one came with the grips already installed. As you can see, mine are worn after almost 3 years of using it pretty much daily, which is fine that it came with it. I really enjoyed the grips, and I have no problem having a mouse ship with no grips. I think it's nice to give the end user and consumer the option to put the grips if they want it. I'm actually been enjoying not having it on the mouse. That's fine. But if I did want to put the grips, I mean, if I'm paying for a white version of a mouse, can't I get white grips? Like, is it impossible? Is it just me? Like, I've seen Tiger grips have different styles and colors. Like Razer, why can't the white mouse come with the white grips and the black mouse come with the black grips, or give you the option to pick and choose? I don't know. But if somebody wants an all white mouse for their setup to go with a white keyboard, and they want grips, well, now you're stuck turning your mouse into a half black, half white mouse. Which brings me to what really frustrates me about this mouse. Razer, I don't know if you got your thinking from Apple by removing features and then charging the same. But let's talk about what's been removed on this mouse to make it lighter. Because to be honest, the weight reduction only comes from the removal of features. There is no new innovation in this mouse. There's no honeycomb pattern to reduce the weight. It's not a new material compared to the old one. The switches are the same, the sensor's there. So you got rid of, let's start with the bottom. You got rid of the metal pins. So you got rid of the magnetic pins to charge the mouse, first of all. You got rid of the button to turn the switch to turn the mouse on and off. You now have one button for both. You got rid of the two right side mouse buttons. You got rid of the RGB component in the shell of the mouse, and by default there are no grips on the sides of the mouse. So all those together brought about the 15 gram reduction on this mouse. So you removed all these features, so you removed all these small parts you don't have to buy anymore and put together in the mouse. So you removed all these costing to make the mouse lighter, which is great. A lighter mouse is a win. Not that your old one was heavy, but I guess I noticed the difference going back and forth. But you removed all these things, yet you're charging the same. Your cost has gone down. You're not buying as many components anymore to build this mouse. One unit costs less to make than a previous version. Why is it still the same price? Why does this supersede this and give less features? This should not be the successor to this. Maybe it's just a marketing thing. Maybe this should have been launched as a completely different mouse, as in targeted specifically to high FPS competitive professional gamers with less features at a lower price. No RGB, no dock, so no wireless charging on the dock. It's not good for an ambidextrous left-handed user. There is no grips put on the mouse, and there is no RGB, which we all know is a huge want for a lot of people. If I remember correctly, I may be wrong, just let me know. When this one, the Viper Ultimate Original, first came out, I paid $200 Canadian for this version with the dock. If I recall, you could have the option of just for $150, obviously still in Canadian because that's what I deal with, without the charging dock, and you could just charge it wired. So that option was there before. So they're able to acknowledge the fact that it is cheaper to not have a dock to charge it. $50 worth. So we're still paying the same. And here's what pisses me off. Do I like this mouse? I do. I hate to say it. I really like using the new version 2. But I really do miss a lot of the features from the original Viper Ultimate. And it bothers me that it's the same price. I would have no problem having this at a 25 to 40% cheaper price than the Viper Ultimate that comes with the dock. The dock really bothers me. It really does. And I know that it might be something small for a lot of people. I went from having a dock that charges my mouse but also holds the dongle and connects with the wire in the back to now having to choose between having the dongle and plugged in or removing the plug and charging my mouse. I would love to hear what you guys think about the changes that Razer decided to go with the V2 Pro. I'm going to continue to use it and see how I really feel about it for a couple of days. And let me know if you have any questions and comments about either the original Viper Ultimate, you guys check out my review on that, or the new V2 Pro Viper Ultimate that I have here with me. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you did stick around till the end and enjoyed what you saw, please consider hitting that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and it's free if you did enjoy it. And I will catch you guys next time.